do this. Well, here I am, very excited about this, in the clubhouse with an old friend called Marcel Spoelstra. And Marcel, I first met in 2013. I remember getting an email from Marcel because he's from the Netherlands, and he said, I want to come and see you and come to Australia. And so we said, okay, well, we've got this event. I've got this 2-day business planning workshop. Why don't you come on down for that? And sure enough, Marcel, you turned up. You flew all the way from Amsterdam, turned up. And if I recall, I took you to the top of the mountain when you first arrived and you were jet lagged. I said, you've got to stay up all day. And then, as they say, the rest is history. So that was 2013. And back then, Marcel, if I recall, revenue was about, you had a partner back then, and revenue was about 350,000 euros. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. And so then, over the next few years, you know, I never directly coached you, Marcel, but you absorbed everything that we put out, you know, books, DVDs. You flew to 4 of our major conferences. You went to the UK whenever I was doing events in the UK, and you were just a sponge. You were a sponge for everything, weren't you? You just absorbed everything. Tell us more about when we first met, what the business looked like back then, and then we'll fast forward to today.
Well, in the past, our firm was like a conventional accounting firm. Yeah, we do the bookkeeping, the annual reports, and the tax work, and we really thought that we were really doing the things what clients were asking us to do, because we finished the book, yeah, and we sent the bill, and he said, okay, see you next year, and then we found it strange that there was no growth in our revenue. Yeah, it was just an hibernation for 3 or 4 years. There was no growth, nothing at all. But the problem is when you do that, there is no joy in your work, because you can't say that it gives some fulfillment doing some tax returns. Well, then you must be some cyber figure partner that you just want to see the figures going up or down. No, I want to be a part in the success of a firm, and that's what I learned from you, is that my clients are actually not expecting tax returns or reports. I got so much knowledge and to help people to become successful, especially companies. Yeah, there's not private entities, but just large companies. I got 6 years study in university. I got 20 years of experience, and so I can really help people become successful. And that's what I learned, is that the financial reports and the tax work, that is a side product of success. It's just a starting point. And when we just change our mindset, that we are going to sell advisory service and we help people become successful, then your revenue goes up, because people are successful. They tell your story to someone else and say, hang on, I got an accountant and he is not the ordinary bookkeeper, but he helps me to become successful. And then the referrals come in. And what happened is, from the 350,000, within 4 years, we almost doubled it.
So Marcel, back then you had a business partner. It was a 2-partner small firm. How many years were you in business before we met in 2013? So what was the journey leading up to that? How many years in business?
8 years.
8 years. Okay, so 8 years to grow up to 350. And then pretty quickly, if I recall, because we kept in touch, you know, although from afar, you grew the revenue by about 50% in the next 12, 18 months or so. And then you actually split from your partner, amicably, I'm presuming. Why the split?
Because you make a plan. You learn to make a plan, and it's a plan of 5 years, and then you see what the results are. And if you see that there is a difference in ambitions and results in the partnership, that gives tension, yeah? And then you have to decide, if you want to go that way, okay, it's good, you do it your way, but I want to go in this way. So we decided to split it. Of course, that is it's unfortunate to do that, because you have to start, and it costs a lot of money, legal money. But then it was the best decision I've taken, because now we've grown with 20% extra. And what we see now, after 2 years with the split, I'm back to the revenue, yeah, of more than the revenue than we had as a total partnership. But I don't have to split. I have more staff now. They work for me, and I got more time left. and not only for my family, but also for my clients.
And what about profit? How has profit been impacted? What's the percentage increase on profit for you?
Well, if you compare it from the beginning, we doubled the revenue and we tripled the profit.
It's good numbers. Very good numbers.
Yeah.
And so that's where it is today. Still a sole practitioner, which is totally cool. You sent an email to me that because you're in control, and a good buddy of mine, Michael, you've met Michael before, Michael Sheargold, right? He says, and this is a great saying, that a breakthrough often happens after a break with. And by the sound of it, your break with was the partnership split, and then you were able to grow and have complete control and get things done. So congratulations on that. So now we look like what we do. Let's get into what you did, right? What did you actually do? Because you sent me an email to say you actually grew the revenue in total to over a million euros in that period of time. So brand new revenue. So tell us what you've actually implemented. If there was a laundry list and a pick list, what have you actually implemented to make the difference in your firm?
It was quite simple. The first thing what we did is implementing value pricing.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no excuse that someone is still asking for hourly billing. We don't do that. We skipped it within 2 months. So when the first time we met in November, and in January the year after, we sent a letter to our clients. We did it wrong in the past. We start using value pricing, not value pricing, but fixed pricing. That's what people understand. So that was the first thing that we implemented. Then we started to do bundling all the services. And we are offering then what we call retainers, or what you call contributions, that is a fixed contract. So we made a split in
just that, is that a monthly recurring revenue fee?
Yeah, monthly recurring revenue.
Yep.
That's what we call retainers.
Got it.
And we made a split that people can identify their services and their needs. That's bronze, silver, and gold.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only for identifying the needs, but if someone is asking more services, then it's quite simple to upgrade them. So it gave us a monthly recurring revenue, and at this moment 80% of our revenue is monthly recurring. Yeah. And even now in the COVID time, that's fantastic, because I can also have a prediction what it will be at the year end. The 20% that remains, that's the amount for extra services, or there are also clients to have some special needs what is not packed in the retainings, and we offer them something extra.
So Marcel, what was, just on that topic there, let's just go a bit deeper on the fixed fee, the value pricing, the monthly recurring revenue. When you made the switch, and you changed pretty quickly, like we gave you the idea and you've implemented pretty quick, what was the client reaction to that from the old system to the new?
Well, the good clients, they said, well, we have fully confident about it. But the first question that is typical Dutch, and they say, this is going to cost me more. And I said, no, it's not going to cost you more. We are offering only more services, and it's more convenient for you that you know exactly what the price is. So there was no client who did not accept it. And they are now used to it, because you have monthly recurring retainings for everywhere. Well, it's like cars, you can lease a car, the computers, and well, you can mention it, everything is done. So it's just a logical step. So there was no client who did not accept it.
Now, before we turn the recording on, you told me a story about a most recent client with the gold, silver, bronze, and then an extra. Tell that story again.
Yeah, that was amazing. One of the things that we also changed was the website. The message on the website is that we're not selling bookkeeping and tax work. We're selling success. And apparently that was appealing to a new client, and he was looking for a good accountant. And well, the first thing is that my colleague, John, he's a client service coordinator. That's one of the things that you also mentioned and we implemented. And he has got a script of 14 questions to be asked. It's like what Jack Daly said, always have a script. And after the script, my client service said, this is a serious client. So we did some investigation, and yes, this was a really huge one.
So just to understand, Marcel, the process here, a prospect inquires through the website, your client service coordinator, which by the way, we've renamed to Client Excellence Coordinator, which is a term. They then interview first before it gets to you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
And
Yep.
and depending on the outcome of the questions, they make another meeting. Yeah, and the meeting is always by phone or what we do now by video.
Yep.
And I got a good phone call. It took 1.5 hours, and then you know that's serious. So based on that information, I made already a proposal, and that's again based on bronze, silver, and gold. And when I went to this firm, this company, then it's a call center, and then I noticed that this is really huge. Yeah, there was 50 people working there, a lot of people running out, and it looked very very successful already. So this guy looked on the proposal. I just explained how it worked. I never sent a proposal by mail or post. It's always done in person.
Okay.
And he said, "I take the gold one."
And,
I said, "Well."
and how much was the gold one?
The gold one was already then 30,000 euros.
So 2,500 a month.
Yep.
Yeah, yep.
So we had 30,000 euros talking about. I said, well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I already thought that you want maximum service. And I got one extra package. But I don't mention that on the website because it's only from the best clients I have. And they said, well, what is it? I said to him, it's unlimited access to me. You got my personal phone, mobile phone number. You can ask all the questions you want and we will not charge you anything extra. And then he said, how much is that? I say, it's 60,000. So it's double. And he said to me, I take that as well. So I sold him the platinum. Yeah, I just made it up. Yeah, that there is some extra, and it was very successful.
Awesome.
And if you compare that, if you want to make 60,000 euros by hourly billing, you need a lot of work to do.
A lot of work, yeah. And no doubt because the options you put in there for the double package, the platinum one, the extra options are what we might call soft dollar options, as in they don't actually cost you any money. Pretty much that extra 30,000 is going to be mainly all profit as well.
Yeah, well, and not all of them is profit because he's frankly using the time of phoning me. It's almost every day, but I frankly don't care about it because he has my direct line to it and he got direct access and he wants to pay for that service. Yeah, so I don't mind about that. It's all about selling success and becoming a business partner. That's what people are looking. They are not looking for a number cruncher anymore.
Exactly. Good to hear. Well, essentially, you become their financial coach.
Yeah. So what I did in the last 3 weeks, because it only came to my office in August, and I went on a holiday, and I had to wait. After the holiday, I made the financial reports of 2019. It's ridiculous that they didn't have the reports for 2019 already, but it is now almost finished. Next week, I do a coaching session with them, and I tell them we make a financial plan, and we start to make a financial plan for the whole company, and restructure everything, and it's all in this big fee. And for me, it gives me plenty of time to give him all the attention that he wants.
And Marcel, you may remember me saying at some point in time that if the average hourly rate, if the margin is great enough, it just doesn't matter anymore. And that's what you're discovering with this particular client. It just doesn't matter.
Indeed, and what we do is that we monitor all the every hour rates of all our clients. It's not on a weekly basis, yeah. It's just looking every quarter. Hang on, is this going up or is this going down? But at the year end, we make a big line. We got them all under in a spreadsheet, and then we say this is the hourly rate. And if you're on the average, then it's okay. Are you below average? We have to talk about the monthly fee. Or we just send an email out that we want to make a meeting, and one of the meetings is that this firm or of this company has to pay more, or they just have to leave. And I know it's harsh to say that. Yeah, it hardly happens that an accounting firm is calling a client and they say we have to increase our prices, or you better have to leave. But it's just a polite way to say that it doesn't work, this relationship. The opposite is that was the old-fashioned way, is that accounting firms, they're just billing hours, that the fees go up and that the client goes away itself. And I don't think that's the way you should do business. It's better to tell on the before end that it doesn't work, and then people can leave on their own.
Yeah, cool. Where to from here? What's the plan for your firm? We've already doubled revenue, tripled profit, implemented a ton of different strategies that we promote and that you've picked up, of course. What's the plan for your business? How far do you want to take this over the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see it going?
Well, within 5 years, it must double again. And in 10 years, it must be 1 million. Or earlier, and it has nothing to do about the profit, because I'm not complaining about profit. That's already done, but it all has to do with the future. To be sustainable, you need to be a large firm. And also, if something happens to me, the firm now has a problem. Yeah, and also I want to go on a holiday for a longer period than 2 weeks, and I don't want to check my email. I never check my email during my holiday, so I don't do that. But I want to have longer holidays, going to Australia again. That's longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah. So Marcel, I want to talk about implementation real quick as we start to wrap up over the next few minutes. Much larger firms with a much larger headcount and resources implement, right? Because they can assign people. You're a smaller firm. And often I hear from smaller firms, it's just too hard to implement this stuff. I'm just at the grindstone doing all the client work. What's been your process for consistent implementation of business growth strategies?
It's the mindset. You have to be the mindset, and you have to have a plan, and you have to see this plan every day on your desk. If your plan is that you want to double your revenue, and you see that every day, then you have to be accountable for the results if you don't do anything. So for us, it was quite simple. I got a dashboard, and I see how much meetings I have with new clients, how much new clients come on board, what new service that we are providing. So we made the plan, and we split it in several parts. So every quarter we implemented something. And some things go faster, some things go it takes a little bit more time, but stick to a plan. And if you don't have a plan, that's a ticket for disaster, because nothing happens. Only the excuse, nothing happens.
And, I was talking to a firm today. He's blocked out, a sole practitioner as well, blocked out every Wednesday for the future, to work on his business rather than in his business. 20% of the week, which is awesome. As I said to Tim today, you are going to implement like crazy by allocating that amount of time per week to work on this business rather than in it. Marcel, huge congratulations, double, love that, and you'll do it again as well. What would you say to people who are looking to change the dynamics of their firm, looking at the sort of work that I do with firms? What would you say to them?
Yeah, just do it. I got a phone call in.
Prospect on the way.
Yeah, no, it's my IT manager. Now, I have to say that just contact you, because the results are amazing. Yeah, it's now the time to change, especially now the time is there to change. And people say, well, the corona isn't the time. Well, if you don't change now, you will never change. That's my opinion.
Well, what I say to firms at the moment, COVID has given a gift to accounting firms. And the gift is that communication acceptance levels have changed forever. So we don't need to be the local accountant. If you look at the old accounting firm, the traditional practice, pretty much 80% of the client base was within a driving radius of that firm, like a 2-hour driving radius. And now, because everyone's moved to digital, or they've had to, we can have clients all over the world, all over the country, all over the state, wherever it is, and have a different relationship with the client. So I'm excited by that, and excited by the opportunities and you read it in the press all the time with what COVID has done. It has sped up the digital transformation of the world by a factor of years. So you're right, Marcel. Do it now. Cool. Man, congratulations. Along the way, lots of awards you won as well. National Accountancy Award you won. Was that voted the best firm in Netherlands, or what was that award in 2015?
In 2015, we won actually 2 awards. It was the best firm in Western Holland, and the overall firm. And we also beat the large firms to that. And it was due to 3 things. It was one of we got an efficiency model with OCR and automating bookkeeping. The second thing was that we were offering a price model, what was still unique, even now in Holland after 5-6 years. Yeah. And the other thing was about that we are very famous about marketing, that we do marketing, and still no accountant firm do marketing. So that was the 3 packets that they said, well, and the growth figures, of course, you had to send in your figures and the outcomes of that. That was mainly the reason that we won.
Well, Marcel, it's been 7 or 8 years now, and I know we will connect again and see you. I will be in the Netherlands one day, and we'll catch up for a beer or wine, or we'll go racing in one of your famous sports cars as well. See how we go. But thank you. Thank you for the journey. Thank you for the friendship. And mate, double. Looking forward to that journey. All the best.
It's good. Yeah. Good luck, Rob.